Yes, welcome to No Ideas Original featuring Shannon, Mr. Rob, and Zane. What's good, Z? How are you?
Ain't not much, man. Just happy Thanksgiving or happy belated Thanksgiving. But overall, people gonna be celebrating to like Sunday or whatever.
Yeah,
So you know what I'm saying?
happy Indigenous People Day.
Right, right.
That's what
How was your?
calling it. We calling it celebrating, or we calling it just you just gonna be eating them leftovers for about a week.
Nah, I think I'll be finished with the leftovers in about another maybe I don't know maybe like by Sunday. I got a couple of places I gotta go after we do the podcast.
Yeah.
Make some stops. Had a good time yesterday. Went out of town. Went to two spots yesterday, man. Food was excellent.
Yeah, I got a 2 day limit though, man. Like left, I can eat food the first day, I can eat the second day, but I can't do 3 days, man. I
Why you
can't.
can't do three?
I just can't. Like to me, like after you keep reheating food, it loses the taste. Like there's some people that be like the meal is better on the second day. So I had my
Yeah.
leftovers today. It was a damn good meal. I ain't gonna front. It was a good meal, but I don't think I could eat it tomorrow
What was
again.
what was your favorite two that you enjoyed from yesterday out of what you had?
Um, so usually we deep fry a turkey, but we have people that come over to the house. Like my brothers come over, my mom comes over. My sister-in-laws, my mother-in-law. So usually in my house we'll have like probably like 15, 20 people. Probably actually we probably have more than that. Probably it was close to like 30 people. I'll be at the house with a deep fried turkey. But because it was just us four and my daughter's down in Atlanta, we had baked mac and cheese, we had collard greens, we had sweet potatoes, stuffing, chicken, and my
Oh
wife
man.
made a ham for my youngest son.
Oh
But
okay.
small portions though, small portions, So, but it was good, man. It was good. Like I got up early yesterday and I worked out. I'm like, I got to work out because I know I'm gonna go in. Today I didn't get a chance to exercise, so I'm dreading it a little bit because that food, it'll sit on you for a minute. You know,
Yeah, yeah. So what you was on the Peloton?
I was on the Peloton yesterday. Yesterday I did 5 miles. 5 miles is light though. 5 miles only like 15 minutes. So
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
and then I do my regular calisthenics and stuff like that because I already knew I know right now I'm about to sit down and eat thousands of calories and go in. So let
Right.
me preemptively make sure I get it together. But yo, we got a real interesting episode today. We're gonna speak to Emil Nnani in a few seconds. He's actually the founder of Boaz Bikes, which is a
Right.
scooter company, and then we're gonna talk about two things. One, Dave Chappelle's stand up that's circulating around. I don't even know if it's on Netflix, but I know it's circulating around social media. I think it's called Unforgiven, where he talks about his situation with his contract with Comedy Central and Viacom
Right.
for the Chappelle show. And then we're gonna talk about the Fresh Prince reunion and Will Smith's conversation with the original Aunt Viv. So
Right.
should be a good discussion. So let's get right to it. Let me see. Let's bring our guests in. So we want to welcome to the show Emil Nnani, the founder of Boaz Bikes. What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. Thanks for having me, guys. I'm loving it. Thank you.
Yo,
Thank
thank
you
you.
for joining the show.
No, man. Yo, look, you're a black entrepreneur. Anytime we have an opportunity to build with a black entrepreneur, it's a good thing, man. So, tell us a little bit about Boaz Bikes. When you founded it and what inspired you to get it started.
Yeah. So, Boaz Bikes, we're a shared scooter company. Like, if you're living in a big city, you'll see the birds and the limes, stand-up scooters, and we're just a safe alternative to the stand-up scooters. I started this company back in 2018. Bootstrapped it, built the first prototype, built the app, bootstrapped it myself in 2018, and was just trying to get it out to the world. I wanted to. I saw somebody fall off a scooter. They were trying to go up a curb one day. They fell off, blood everywhere. The ambulance came out there, and I was sitting there thinking, like, yo, I can create something better than this. I was sitting there thinking, like, man, this guy came out here. He was with his friends, trying to have a good day, and his life has changed forever. And I was like, man, people shouldn't have to deal with that.
How about that?
Yeah.
What are some of the the barriers that you came across when you was trying to put together this company, Boaz Bikes?
I mean, the big thing, and we're still dealing with it to this day, is the funding, man. It's a crazy world. I'm new to the VC world. My last startup is when I really got introduced to the VC, the venture capitalist world. And that last startup taught me a lot of lessons in life that I thought, we should be able to overcome, with Boaz Bikes. So back in 2019, I mean, we were smoking, thousands of users, and just trying to raise capital, man. It was just extremely tough, especially for people of color. And I went out to California, Silicon Valley, and I'm trying to pitch, and I'm doing all the right things. I'm showing all the right numbers. I'm saying all the right words, and it's just not clicking. So I was forced to go to the public in 2019 and crowdfund our first round. We raised about $400,000 in 2019.
Nice, man.
And likewise, I'm in that same position now. We're on our seed round. We're raising $1 million. We hope we can close it by the end of this year, Lord willing. And then, hopefully after this, we should have that recognition that we need to be able to raise the right way, like my other brothers and sisters in the tech world, that's a little lighter hue.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that, because I was going to say, what do you see as the barriers when you go out to Silicon Valley? Do you think that's only it, or you think there's other things that prevent us from being able to get funding to get these kind of things off the ground?
I think, I think that's the main thing. And I don't think it's, I don't think it's intentional, and it could be, but from what I see, I don't think it's intentional. It's just that, they've been doing something for so long, and to them it's like, well, we invest in people we know. It's built off relationships, and this the whole thing is built off of networking and relationships, and you can't even get in the room with the people that can easily. I mean, people have gotten checks off of less than what we did back in 2019, and now we're here in 2020 with over 20,000 rides and zero reported accidents, and we're still having that same issue. But I think it's more so we weren't invited to the cookout. We don't have anybody at the table vouching for it. So that's what I think is mostly about.
What do you do for proof of concept for something like that? Like, do you go out there and show them, like, look, this is the app I developed? Do you take a bike with you? How does that work?
Man, that's exactly what I did. But usually, so when I went out there at the end of 2018 and went out there with the prototype, with the app, with my pitch deck, my investment deck, and just tried to, I was that guy you hear about, in the TV shows and the stories. I was that guy that was trying to sneak into the offices. I remember this one incident, right? I was trying to go see a VC. Now, you don't have a meeting; they're not even going to meet you. You email them, they're more than likely not going to respond. But so it was like a security gate, and I just had my food in the car. So I'm driving through the security gate, and I'm like, I'm an Uber Eats driver, man. So the security officer let me by through the gate, and I thought I was clean. I was just gonna walk inside his office, like, this is what I have. And then I got to the next level, and there was another security officer at the front desk, and I was like, man, and she wouldn't let me get by. Then I left, stood outside maybe about 30 minutes trying to figure out a plan. Like, I drove all the way to California from Texas. I gotta go close this money. So I snuck back in and snuck past that security desk and jumped on the elevator. But then the elevator didn't even go up. Like, you needed a key to get up to that.
Wow.
It was tough, man. It was tough.
That's your pitch, though, man. That's your pitch. If you did finally get in that room, or when you get in that room, that's the pitch, to tell them, like, look,
I didn't get in it yet.
Let's go.
Yeah. Hey, all of that sounded like the upcoming scenes to the movie Mission Impossible.
Oh man.
Nah, but you know what? I definitely tip my hat to you, man, for just not taking no for an answer. You know.
Yeah.
So where are you currently located at? You're located in which states right now?
Yeah. So I live in Texas. And right now our fleet is on the road in Detroit, Michigan. I'm in Dallas, Texas, and we launch in Austin, Texas in January. We were in Atlanta before COVID hit, but right now our fleet is only in Detroit, Michigan. We launch in Austin, Texas in January. We're looking at launching in 2 more cities in late March.
What took you to Detroit?
So before Detroit, I was operating in a city called Plano, Texas, and I was dealing with the city of Dallas, Texas. So I was waiting on Dallas, Texas to give us our permit. And one of my early investors was like, hey, come rock with Detroit. I'm like, man, Detroit, hold on now. I hear so much about Detroit. but he put us in contact with the mayor's office, and it was just so much love just talking to him and chopping it up with him. They was like, bring your talents to Detroit. And I'm like, all right, man, we gave it a shot. Now, mid 2019, and man, the city just rocked with us hard. So yeah, man, putting down roots in Detroit. I rock with Detroit. It's a little on the rough side, but I rock with them the long way.
Oh man.
Now tell us about the app. Like, how long did it take for you to develop it? I'm sure you probably still doing upgrades to this day. It's on iOS and also Android platform. Tell us about the app and the functionalities of it.
So the app, man, we're on our 4th version of it, like where like complete scrap rehaul, but so that early on app had a lot of bugs in it. And now, we're more advanced and have a lot of third-party connections in it as well. But I mean, the app is super smooth. As you jump on the app, when you're in the city, you jump on the app, it tells you where the vehicles are within the city, tells you the nearest vehicle to you. You add your credit card information, credit card, debit card to the app. You go to the nearest vehicle, you scan it. It's a little QR code on the vehicle. You scan it, and the app unlocks the scooter for you.
Wow.
We the most affordable in the city. We only charge $1 to start the trip, and then 25 cents per minute.
Oh man!
Anywhere you want, and when the trip is over, you just go back in the app and hit end ride, and you can drop it anywhere you want within the city. My team come around later on during the day, and they go pick up everything and rebalance them out to new hubs.
Wow. Excellent.
Do the same thing.
What are I guess the most favorite features that people like about the app?
I think more so. I think more so it's the fact that we're able to connect quicker than our competitors. So a lot of the competition just pretty much use a TCP protocol where they unlocking it from a cell tower. With us, we take that option as well, but we also use a backup a Bluetooth option as well. So we don't have the same downtime that they have, so they can unlock and lock a bike a lot quicker on our platform. I think that's what mainly that number one thing that users like about our app, I believe.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, man. So you single-handedly worked on integrating all this technology. You had to have a hand.
Yeah, nah, man. Most definitely had a full squad, man.
Okay.
And I'm a firm believer, man, in hiring and partnering up with people that's a lot smarter than myself. So most definitely had a full squad and partnered up with different firms to at each stage. When we started making a little more, we was able to get a little bit more, talent to go along with us. But yeah, we got a full crew now.
Yeah. See, my concern with it would be something like, I'm not talking from my perspective. If I was on your end, I'd be like, damn, like, would I want to leave the scooters anywhere? Like when the ride, has that ever come up? Thinking like, man, maybe these scooters may end up in places we don't want them to end up.
So one of the neat things is that we can geofence any part of the city. So if we don't want the rides to go to a certain part of the city, we can block it off. Scooters won't work in that city. We can slow it down if a certain busy road, we don't want you going that fast. We can slow you down, but for the most part, the scooters are GPS tracked, and we literally watch it 24/7. We got somebody on the clock 24/7, always monitoring what's going on. We know everything about the vehicle. We know if the vehicle falls over. We know if somebody picks the vehicle up and put it in the car. We know if the vehicle is moving in a car without it being rented. So we know everything about the vehicle, where it is at all times, and yeah, man, it's a pretty safe business on our side.
Yeah, no, I feel you. That would be like the one thing I'd be like, man, whew. So how many, you've been doing this now a couple of years. How many different models of scooters did you go through? Is this still the original model that you started with, or you've made changes to it?
Yeah, so this is the Model 2 that's out on the streets now. And we do have the Model 3 that we designed. It's patent pending. Lord willing, I'm hoping we'll be able to introduce that to the public. Hopefully sometime between that March and April next year. That right there is going to be the game changer. So the Model 2 was already the game changer, but we was behind the curve. For us, we're trying to raise $1 million. Our competitors, Bird and Lime, each of them both have already raised over $750 million. I mean, these guys are rock stars or superstars, and so we're behind the curve on the funding, but as far as the innovation, man, they can't touch us on that side.
Yeah,
that Model 3 is coming early 2021, and that's going to be the game changer.
Yeah, one thing I've always liked about crowdfunding versus just going to venture capitalist route is that it takes longer, of course, with crowdfunding, but with crowdfunding, I think you're working you're working for the shareholders and for the people. When you start talking about venture capitalists, your vision may not necessarily align with what their vision is for it. So you got to have the right person that really buys into what it is that you're trying to do, rather than just looking like, don't get me wrong, you need somebody that's going to look at me like, all right, this is the financial potential for it, but you also need somebody that shares your vision and where you want the scooter to go.
Most definitely, and that's a beautiful thing for us, without having that big wallet person in the back, twisting our arm saying, do this or do that, but we are looking our Series A round, which would be Q2 of next year. We are looking to bring in that VC money. Hopefully a lot easier than what we're dealing with now, but we are looking to bring it in. But as long as we still own majority of it, we don't care too much about what they the arms they want to twist.
Yeah, I looked at online, like the testimonials for people that have invested, and I was looking, and the trend that I saw was that most of the people that have invested are people who have actually used the scooter, people that are excited about supporting Black-owned businesses. And I'm like, that's again, I think it's slower for the money to come in, but that's also shows that those are people that to me are like very much believers in your service and what you got going on, and that to me, that's to be commended, man.
Thank you.
Sure. Now, as far as the locality of where these e-scooters are available to the public, have you looked into putting them more by universities so that students can get around?
Yeah, so man, we looked at the university play hard, and hopefully in that first half of 2021, we'll lock in some exclusive deals. We just seen a competitor pretty much go out of business, mainly because of they had 45 locations, but they were all universities, and just the thought that 2021 could be all virtual. We don't know, right? It's floating out there. It's going to be a lot of virtual learning. So yeah, for us, if we can lock down more universities, that's always the way to go. But it probably won't be beneficial until 2022.
That makes sense. What's the requirement for using a bike? I mean, is there like age? You got to be a licensed driver. Do you have to have insurance? How does that work?
Yeah, so it's right now it's no requirement. It really depends on the city. When we first started on, we was like, got to be at least 18 years. You have to have a ID. And so when we first started, we had people uploading their ID, and we would verify them and check them. And while Bird and Lime, they did not care. They just want you to jump on and ride. So we had to make that pivot, to be able to compete with them guys. So right now, it's no requirement. You sign a ton of waivers, check off on a ton of waivers, but no accidents so far. So
that's great.
Glory on that one.
So how does it work on the insurance? And they don't have to have insurance. You guys just insure the vehicles?
Yeah. So the vehicles, the rides are insured if something were to happen, but since they sign off on the waivers, is pretty much taking all fault. The only fault that we have, where our insurance carrier would jump in is if it's unless some type of malfunction with the vehicle. And since we do not play, now them other guys on the other hand, they it's something else. But we go out there, we inspect vehicles daily. We make sure that we put in the safest vehicle on the road. We don't want no accidents. We don't want nobody getting hurt. We don't want no lawsuits.
Now, what's the max speed for these e-scooters, for the Boaz bikes?
So ours,
or does it, I guess, with the different models, they might have different max speeds, I guess.
Ours is about 20 miles per hour, but every single city wants you to cap it at 15 miles per hour. So nobody should be riding more than 15 miles per hour. And just about, I haven't seen a city that will allow you to go over 15 miles per hour. So yeah, they have a governor up there where we cap it at 15, so they can't ride no more than 15.
Wow. What's the I'm just thinking, like, in terms of, I know I'm located in Connecticut, but I go back and forth to New York City a lot. And when I was in New York City pre-COVID, Revel took over. Yeah. It was everywhere. I was like, damn, like these are immensely popular. But then Revel ended up having all these accidents, like, and all these safety concerns that now anywhere you go in the city, you hardly see any of them out on the road. So I mean, in your industry, and now with you guys doing this, were there lessons learned from the Revel experience?
Man, we're the little guys, so we're learning from everybody's screw up. So whenever they screw up, we're making sure we learn from it. But Revel doing extremely bad, mainly because of the accidents. Revel is like the moped style, so you're going a lot faster. So you got it's a higher prone to somebody getting hurt, and then they had a death such. But they had a death on a Revel scooter. Sorry, but which really just tanked them, and the city don't know what to do. Right now they're debating if they should allow people, only rent out to people that have a driver's license or go through a special class for them. So the more barriers to the entry for the consumer. Yeah, so I mean their model is dying right now, and for us, we just make sure we educate our users when they download the app. It's a how-to to tell them how to ride. Our vehicles don't go as fast as those mopeds go. On top of that, we make sure our vehicles don't break down in the road. Some things you have no control of. Another car driving or whatnot. But with us in the shared scooter world, our vehicles have side mirrors, turn signals on them. We have the hands-free basket. We're trying to do everything that in our power so that the user don't mess up. Give them that safe feeling, so that the mess up isn't on their end.
Yeah, I saw a Facebook video online, and it was like you guys compared to another scooter, and the other scooter looked like one of those old traditional push scooters. It was electric, but I was like, man, like this is like looking at a Chrysler versus the Back to the Future. But,
Oh,
I was like, man, how long does the charge last on them? Because I also saw that you guys have 2 batteries on it, so that way if one battery dies, it automatically kicks into the next battery. Like, how does that work?
No. So that's our new model that has the 2 batteries up there. Ours have the swappable battery. So we were one of the first ones to introduce a swappable battery. Whenever a scooter dies or get low, when it drops lower than 30%, we have the 24/7. Our quick response team members already out there in the field. They just go and they just pop out the battery. It takes less than a minute. Pop out a battery, pop in a new battery, and that scooter is good to go. So our vehicles never need to leave the streets ever, compared to the birds and the limes. Those guys, they pay the independent contractors. They pick them up, they charge them in their house, and then they have to go and redeploy them back out in the morning. And with us, we don't have to do that. Our vehicles never leave the streets. They get rented out more often. And our batteries last about 2 to 3 hours on a constant ride. If it's not on a constant ride, it can last, days or weeks.
Yeah, 2 to 3 hours going 15 miles per hour. That's a good charge, man. You should get a lot per ride out of that.
Yeah.
Have you ever considered going on something like Shark Tank to, I guess, introduce the company and utilize a pitch deck?
Most definitely. So I pitched that Shark Tank early this year, and I made it to the second round. They accepted us. It was some issues on the back end that wouldn't allow us to make it on to the show, but which is something I hope they fix on their end. But yeah, that was something amazing that we hope we could have made it onto the show. But yeah, and what's his name? Mark Cuban's already invested in a scooter company, so conflict.
But you know what though, brother? A lot of people had huge success stories of whether they didn't make it to the extra rounds on Shark Tank, or whether they was able to utilize a pitch deck in front of the investors and they turned it down. And I mean, it's like dozens of different companies that's actually doing very well now. And
Really?
when they look back on it, they're like, I'm glad I didn't get funding from Shark Tank representatives.
Didn't they turn Ring down? They turned down Ring, right? The doorbell.
Yeah, and then
wow.
Amazon wound up purchasing them. Yeah,
Nas, the rapper Nas, actually his venture capitalist company invested in it, and then they sold it to Amazon for tons of bread. So
for several billion. Yep.
So I think it's perfect timing though, in terms of like you guys being with the battery, because everything now is about going green. This may be further down the road. Have you guys thought about the possibility of trying to add like charging stations in areas where like the scooters are commonly rented?
Yeah, so we're working with the city of Detroit with that now. So with being able to put up actual docking stations, it's tough because of on the docking stations, we make all our money on the ads, and cities don't like these pretty much portable ad boards around the city. So hopefully we can come to an agreement, but we're working with some private properties out in Detroit now.
Yeah, what? I was thinking also when I saw the scooter, I was like, I could see a lot of people using this to do Uber Eats.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Have you heard of people doing that?
So it's really our Model 3 that that we're looking at that pipeline. But I mean, you're right. You're right on track, man. It's that competitor I was telling you guys about that that's going out of business.
Mm-hmm.
they had something in place with like I think it was like Jimmy John's restaurants, and so they were running a test pilot. But it's most definitely the way to go. It's most definitely something that's on our plate. We're looking at.
Yeah.
Now, what's your 3 to 5 year plan for Boaz Bikes?
So, for us, more than likely it's going to be an early exit. We're looking at possibly being acquired end of 2021, early 2022. But yeah, we don't really need to. If they don't come with the number that we're expecting, then we'll probably end up trying to IPO it sometime at the end of 2022 or early 2023. But this industry is growing tenfold. Is no stop. Electric vehicles aren't going anywhere. So more than likely we will get acquired. More than likely we'll get acquired. But if we don't, we'll be planning the IPO and continue our expansion.
Nice. We briefly, you touched on it. We talked a little bit about the crowdfunding, but can you share more about the investment opportunity that you guys are currently offering for people that may be watching that may be interested in investing?
Yeah. So, man, the crowd
such as us.
So the crowdfund is lovely, man, and right now. So the crowdfund is a convertible note, which is like the industry standard. And it's at a $15 million valuation, but early investors get in at $10 million. And when I checked this morning, we had about $15,000 left for room for early investors to get in at $10 million. But how the crowdfund works is pretty much, it's almost like Kickstarter, but for equity. So everybody comes in on the convertible note that converts over at our Series A round, which we're hoping for Q2 of 2021, then everybody will have their actual shares in the company. And right now, if we're valued at 10 million, we're going for $1 billion valuation, $1 billion buyout at the end of 2021, early 2022. Then, our early investors are looking at 100x return. So, they can jump in with $1,000, and if we hit it out the park, they believe in us, and they believe micromobility scooters are the future to first and last mile transportation, and we hit it out the park. $1,000 will turn into $100,000, once we get acquired. So the crowdfund is just lovely because people can get in with the minimum of $100, and $100 on our success will equate to 10,000. If we get the level we want, so people can jump in with $100 and it doesn't hurt them. $100 don't hurt them. They can support us. They can jump in with 1,000, 10,000, and support us at the same time as we continue to do some great and amazing things, and then have that possibility of making the massive return on it. So, crowdfunder is on wefunder.com /Boaz.bike, and it's lovely. I love it.
Yeah, I looked at it. I was like, man, this is a really good opportunity. And I think Zane said it right. It's probably something that Zane and I'll probably look into.
Definitely.
So
let me ask you really quick about something else, because I did some research on you that I saw. I was like, man, this guy got his hands in other things. Can you talk, or do you feel comfortable talking a little bit about the I think it's called Aaron Driver?
Yeah. So and that's a startup that I learned a lot about the VC world. And so prior to Aaron Driver, I've been a serial entrepreneur. I've been running my own business since I was 17 years old. But everything that my mom was an entrepreneur. She had a retail shop, and everything I've learned have pretty much been from her, from the community. Is not like I did go to business school for marketing and sales, but I was never exposed to that VC world that like, man, you know, they're writing massive checks over here with on sometimes not even proof of concept. You know, they're backing people who they like or whatnot, and then they're getting 1,000 and 2,000% return on their money on these startups. So I was never aware of that. But Aaron Driver was it was a company I started out in Dallas, Texas. It was an app that does pretty much everything. You can think of it like Uber for everything. We did rides, we did food delivery, grocery shopping. If you needed somebody to clean your house, needed somebody to walk your dog, mow your lawn, any type of errand that you can think of, this one app did everything, man. And I was just ahead of the curve on it again. And I was just so sure. I had another company that I ended up closing and selling off everything. So I had like $250,000 from there, and I took it and I put it all into it. And I said, it's gonna work. And I'm out there pitching. We had about 200 drivers in Dallas, and it was just tough to raise capital. So I was burning through my capital so fast. And they would say, hey man, you just need proof of concept. I'm like, man, I got proof of concept. I got drivers, I got customers, I got downloads, I got revenue. I'm showing you guys proof of concept. I need a check, help me out. It just didn't pan out right. So ran out of capital in Dallas, but already spent so much money on this tech. We already had the app, we already had the marketplace, the platform. So I took it to a smaller city. And I was running it in a smaller city about an hour south of Dallas, and we were doing something like $10,000-15,000 a month in revenue. So we weren't making any money, any real money, and nobody was able to write a check for us. But it kept me afloat until I got hit with the Boaz opportunity. That's when I saw it. So when I saw the guy fall off the scooter, I was running this other transportation startup, but just in a smaller city. And I had to make that decision, like, man. So my plan for Aaron Driver was, all right, it works in a small city. I don't have any overhead. I'm not doing any work. It's my marketplace doing it. My drivers are running the errands. Customers are requesting errands. The drivers stay busy. I'm not doing any work. I'm the middleman. My plan was to take it to all of these small cities that's too small for Uber Eats or too small for Favors or the knockoffs that came later on. So that was my plan at the time. Hey, expand this to a smaller city. You get 100 small cities, and now you're doing $1 million a month. But when I got hit with the Boaz opportunity, I had to make that decision. Like, man, do I focus on Aaron Driver? Do I make the pivot? Nah, I took the pivot. Pivot.
Man, don't let that Aaron Driver go though, man. I said that. I like that.
It's a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, is that price still the same for the service that we saw that's on the bio for Aaron Driver, or did it fluctuate since then?
Yeah. So right now we have it closed, so we don't run no errands anymore. So when I do touch it, which is one of the reasons why we looking for this early acquisition of Boaz, so that I can go out and do more bigger things as well. But when I do touch it again, we'll probably do something around the lines of a monthly subscription service.
Yeah,
excellent.
Yeah, man, that's that. I saw. I was like, man, that's a really good service. Just speak a little bit about proof of concept, because a lot of people don't understand just how proof of concept works, and I've seen it in my experience. Like, it's weird, because some people, in terms of proof of concept, they want to see what the actual product is, and they want to see quantitative data. They want to know your sales. They want to know things like that. But there are some people that take qualitative information, like experience, like, oh, this person had a wonderful experience. These are the testimonials. So from your perspective, when you're going to pitch somebody on these things, like, how do you just have your pitch in mind? Like, but how do you get to a point where you're like, all right, I know that this is what this particular investor is looking for in terms of proof of concept?
Yeah. So on the whole proof of concept, the proof of concept is all over the place, and it's really based off of the investor. Because you look at the the two guys who built Instagram, you know, they were able to get a $500,000 check just off of telling them the idea of what they wanted to do, and based off of who they were, you know. So that it goes back to that whole entire network. But you know, some people that they'll write the check, you know, just off of telling them, hey, you know, this the idea. If you have a proven track record behind you, you know, some big investors will back it. But from what I've seen, they want you, VC wants you to do all the work until the point where you really don't need them. That's when they feel comfortable stepping in. Now it's a lot of VCs out there, and angel investors is usually at that first step before you even go talk to the VCs. But and angel investors will write checks a lot easier, just off of, you know, you can show the testimonials or show them the product that you built. But pretty much nowadays is that if you have a product, you have a company, they want you to do all of the work pretty much. You can't come to anybody with an idea like, hey, I got this awesome idea, I want to start a clothing company. Well, you know, because people don't want to lose money anymore. So, you know, they unless you have a proven track record, that changes everything. If not, you know, they want to see, well, all right, you starting a clothing company, you know, show me the apparel, you know, where you selling that, how many have you sold, and what's the feedback from what you've sold already. But, you know, proof of concept can be 100 sales, and you telling them, hey, you know, I need marketing dollars to explode and grow this thing. But proof of concept can be all over the place.
Yeah. From your perspective, is it easier for an entrepreneur now that everything is pretty much direct to consumer?
Is it easier?
Yeah.
I don't know about easier. I think I mean, you know, it really depends on that space. You know, if you're looking at something like, you know, retail is tough. Now, I was in the retail industry. Now I built a chain of retail stores, and retail is extremely tough. I loved it, but yeah, but I mean, everybody have cool ideas and neat ideas of something that's new and fancy, you know. But that doesn't even matter. Like, you know, somebody can have something cool and neat. It doesn't matter whatsoever. But can you sell 100,000 units of it? Do you know that exact strategy on how you plan on selling 100,000 units of it? So, yeah, I don't know if it's easier, but you know, if you know, somebody came to me and was like, hey, you know, write me a check. You know, I sold 100 t-shirts, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool and all, but you know, people around the corner sold 100 t-shirts. So, yeah, you're gonna have to come a little better than that.
Yeah, I saw it must have been like last year sometimes. It was an Instagram influencer that I think she tried to start a t-shirt company or something like that, and she must have had like 1 million followers. And when she went to sell her t-shirts, I don't even think she sold 100 t-shirts.
Wow.
I think that was like an awakening. Like, it's not necessarily as easy as what you think it is actually to move your product. So Emil, we want to thank you. I appreciate you coming on. How can the people get in contact with you? How can they go about investing? Give us your information.
Right. So you can find me on social media on iamfet.com. That's IAM_FET.com. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and visit the Boaz Bikes website, boazbikes.com. And yeah, so social media, the best way. Might take me a minute, but I'm gonna get to everybody. So yes.
Is that me freezing up?
It might be him.
Job to me. And shoot me an email.
So
It's my first name.
Tell him to log out. Hey, Emil, if you're able to hear us, you can log out and log back in. I guess to close out your final statement.
Emil, you breaking up. So what we could do is, I don't know if you can hear us, but what we could do is we can put your contact information, your social media and everything in the description for the video. Can you hear us? He froze up. Let's see if we could get him back. Yeah, he froze up. But look, for everybody that's watching and listening, like, look, pull up, give them an opportunity, give Boaz Bikes an opportunity. It's a Black-owned business, upstart, brother doing something positive. I haven't had an opportunity to experience or ride the scooter, but I did watch the videos on the scooters. And like I said earlier, the scooters look light years better than some of the other scooters, the electric scooters that we see on the streets now going around the city. So I would say, like, if you're ever in Detroit or you down in Texas, give it a shot.
For sure.
I think we lost him. I think we lost him. Man. Let's see if we get him back. If he doesn't come back, then we'll make sure that we put the information in the description for everybody. So let's move on and talk about the next subject. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion and colorism. Like, did you have an opportunity to watch the reunion yet, or did you see the Red Table Talk with Will Smith and Janet? I think you pronounce her name Hubert. Janet Hubert. Did you catch it?
I caught bits and pieces of it. I'm gonna let you go first, and I'll give you my thoughts about it.
Yeah. So I mean, we all know, love. We grew up watching the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Thought it was a dope show, and there was after season 3 a moment that all of us probably came to realize that things were different when it switched from the original Aunt Viv to the new Aunt Viv, or how some people say dark-skinned Aunt Viv and light-skinned Aunt Viv. And over the years we've come to find out that the original Aunt Viv had I guess she just had struggles, or she had conflict with Will Smith. So he came back. Hey.
My fault, man. I don't know what was going on.
No problem. Yeah, give your information again.
Yeah, so it's social media is the best way to get in contact with me. IamFet.com. I mean, Iam_fet on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. You just type in IamFet, IAM_FET, and email. You can email me. It's my first name, EMIL @boazbikes.com. And just any social media is the best way, but you can always email me, and I'll most definitely get back to you.
For sure. Now, I'm telling you, everybody that's listening out there, if you're looking to, because I definitely believe in this brother's vision right here with these e-scooters. E-scooters is still a very early market to tap into. It's not oversaturated. And from what I've seen, like, I like how you have the bigger tires for traction. You also have the helmets that come with it, because a lot of times if you go in these different stores, they have the helmets sold separately. They don't even come with the scooters, and you also have the seats. You also have the seats for more comfortability and more safety. So for all those listening out there live and the ones that's going to see this later, definitely tap into that market and put some dollars together. Like, I mean, come on, like $100, the minimum, that's nothing. People to spend that on Starbucks in a week. Some people to spend it, in a fraction of an hour going in the store. So you guys looking at, like I said, to invest, make some money for the long term, that's where it's to be. Boaz Bikes.
Yeah.
Thank
you. Well, thank you again. Thanks for pulling up, man. Taking time out to talk to us.
Thanks for having me, guys. I love it. Thank you so much.
We'll definitely keep in touch, bro.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Peace, bro.
Peace.
Yeah, so there you have it. Emil Nnani, founder of Boaz Bikes. good dude, good investment opportunity. You know, we always talk investments on the pod too. So
Right.
this is a good opportunity to get in on the ground floor. If you guys were listening closely and you heard what he said in terms of the valuation, you know that, you know, if they're able to grow the company and take the company where they want it to go, you stand to make a lot of money off of it. But to circle back around to what we were talking about with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion, you know, it came out that Will Smith, over the years, that Will Smith and the original Aunt Viv, that they had conflict and that they had issues. And they would have these reunions, but she would never be there. Everybody else would be there and she wouldn't be there. Well, I guess this year Will Smith made it a point to engage her and make sure that she had an opportunity to come and participate. And they were able to bury the hatchet. And it was interesting because prior to watching it, I heard a couple of people talk about it. I had read some articles about it. My wife was talking to me about it. Like she hadn't watched it yet, but you know, she was talking to me about it. And one of the things that I went into it expecting to hear was that Will Smith was, you know, like horrible to her, and that there was blatant colorism from the standpoint of the Hollywood exec saying that no, you know, the original Aunt Viv doesn't fit the model of what we want to portray on the show. But that's not that. I didn't leave with that same experience. When I left, I felt like it was that that Will Smith was in a place in his life where, you know, he was immature, and that she was in a place in her life where she had financial situations and financial circumstances, and she had other things going on that actually put her in a position to not be able to interact with Will Smith and probably the rest of the cast members the way that people would have wanted her to. So, you know, as I'm watching it, I'm like, damn, like I read somewhere that this woman was like classically trained actress. So I had Googled real quick and I was like, oh snap, yes she is. So Will Smith had made a comment some years ago where he was like that she wants it to be Janet Hubert of Bel-Air, not the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And I think partially part of that is true, that when you're a classically trained actress and you have all these acting chops, that have a dude who, come on, Will Smith back then when he was a Fresh Prince, he was a goofball. A goofball come in, be the star of the show, and the show be based solely around him. I'm sure that stoked some hard feelings. But
he still is a goofball too, though.
But I'll say this though, like, you know, I want to validate some of the stuff she was saying in her feelings, because I do think that sadly, when you do label, especially a woman in the entertainment industry, as being difficult or hard to work with, that it casts a light on them that makes people kind of want to stay away from them and not want to work with them. You know, we see this with other actresses also. And I think that colorism is something that sadly that, you know, as us being people of color, that we fall victim to, right? So we were initially put in a position by our oppressors when they started having, you know, terminologies like field nigga, house nigga, and stuff like that. And I think that created in us this internal racial inferiority that we have, where we don't want to be, you know, same way racist and racism is a social construct where somebody wants to be better than. Internally, we've created that existing, that same dynamic amongst each other, where, you know, for a long time it was like, you know, the lighter a person is, the better, you know, the better they are, the more marketable are, or societal standards to tell us like this is what beauty is. And I think that Hollywood has perpetuated that for so long that I could see why the original Aunt Viv would feel the way she feels. And you think about it, like there are people who call it dark skin Aunt Viv and light skin Aunt Viv. So, you know, I think the lady's feelings around it is valid. You know, like you can't tell a person how to feel. Now, did Will Smith? I didn't hear anywhere said that Will Smith actually was the one that went to Hollywood executives and told the Hollywood executives, I don't want her involved, I want her out. But what I did hear her say is that the Hollywood executives or whoever was running the show offered her a contract, I think of $250,000, and told her that she couldn't work for 10 months or something like that, and that her husband wasn't working and she had a new baby, and she couldn't see herself only working on the show and being able to maintain her new home and things like that. So
Well,
Yeah.
you also remember who the executive producer of that show it was, right?
Benny Medina, right?
Who?
Wasn't it Benny Medina?
No, the executive producer
Quincy
or the
Jones?
creator, Quincy Jones. Yeah.
Quincy Jones, but Benny Medina was involved with it also.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Hmm.
See, and then another thing too, like you brought up earlier, a lot of the different factors was she was having marital problems.
Hmm.
She and come on, man, like, and then for Will Smith to put the stamp of approval that she was a difficult person to work with. I mean, he could have used so many different ways to explain that to make it less harsh. But come on, when you affect somebody's income for over 2 decades, that's atrocious.
Yeah. Well,
So
let me
hopefully,
guess, Zane. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
yeah. So I was saying, hopefully, after they had that talk, Will Smith can, I don't know, because being that he owns, like, Will Smith puts out movies and stuff like that too for the last several years. Hopefully, he's able to involve her in some upcoming projects, and also, maybe hit off. Well, not maybe, but he should hit off with something on the side. Because I mean, no, I'm serious. For over 2 decades of being like quote unquote blackballed,
But all right,
that's
look,
hard.
OG Dad said, I learned from Aunt Viv that Will Smith controls all the jobs in Hollywood, Bollywood, Broadway, etc., because she couldn't get work. So OG Dad, my question to you would be, do you really believe this, or are you being sarcastic? Do we?
He's being sarcastic.
No, do we?
That's OG. That's OG Dad's signature. He's sarcastic, but he's always right. He's always on time with his comments, though.
All right. So Zane, so let me ask you: do you think that Will Smith intentionally blackballed her and told people don't work with her?
Yeah, I think he did because like we all know, back then, Will Smith was way younger. He was more immature, and he got to look at it too that
back then he wasn't a multi-million-dollar blockbuster actor. He had a show, and they said in the reunion that show initially had got canceled, and then public outcry from fans made them bring the show back.
I'm saying, but he still had leverage because he was the star of the show. Aunt Viv was not even the top 4 most popular people on that show. You had Will, you had Carlton Banks, you had the sister, you had the Butler was even more popular than Aunt Viv.
So
the way they projected it. Jazzy Jeff getting thrown out the house was even more popular.
Hold on. So when we say blackball, we talking about blackball throughout the industry. We're not talking about having a person removed from a show, correct?
Yeah, we're talking about blackball. Period. No. But I'm saying that was the start. Will Smith had leverage, being that was his show. He was the star of the show. And he mixed and mingled with a lot of people before that show because he was already in the music business. And people in the music business and people in the acting business kind of roll in the same circle. So at the same time, by him putting out that comment, that really damaged her career.
I think that was damaging to say. Anytime, because Black women sadly have to wear the stigma of being angry. So I think that anytime you say something like that, then that makes it far more complicated for a woman to get work. But as far as like the blackballing to a certain extent, I'm just going by your theory, because Will Smith was the star of the show, to believe that him being the star of the show has the ability to pull strings, it makes me I don't know, because so you ever watch Doogie Howser?
Yeah, Doogie Howser MD.
Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris was the star of that show. He was like the breakout star. Do you think he had the ability to blackball somebody in Hollywood?
No, because he wasn't more of a likable character than Will Smith. That's like comparing apples and oranges.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that the part that I feel like Will Smith is responsible for is, like I said, I think anytime you hang on a woman of color that they difficult, then that just literally becomes a situation where it perpetuates a narrative that people have already created about women of color, right? That they angry, they challenge, and they difficult. So that to me, that was definitely that was damaging. That was damaging. But I just don't see Will Smith as going around, You know, maybe inadvertently by offering up a comment like that, but I don't see Will Smith going around and being like, yo, what? She about to be on Broadway? Nah, hold up. Call up such and such. She ain't getting that gig in Cats. Call over here. She not getting this and she not getting that.
Or you know what, too? Maybe, well, I think a lot of that stuff was like, you know, exaggerated too. Because at the end of the day, after her doing all that, you know, top tier stuff back then before she even got onto the show. I mean, come on, she had to have some type of people in her corner. So if she just like, you know,
she's classically trained. This woman's a classically trained actress.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, she had people in her corner, but so she can't base that all upon Will Smith. Number one. The number two, is always two sides of the story. She might have been very difficult, more than people know.
You know, she acknowledged. She did acknowledge. She acknowledged that she wasn't the easiest to work with. And I could imagine, like, think about it. You have these acting chops, and you come on, you know, you come on to the set, and you ready to get into character and do all these roles. And this dude rolling around on the floor with his Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff antics. I could imagine how. I'm serious. I could imagine how that'd be frustrating. But if you think about it, you know what probably made it really difficult for her? Because James Avery, you know, rest his soul, James Avery was also like a classically trained actor. And it seems like that he did so much to bring like the young actors and actresses into the fold and embrace them. So maybe he was more open, and maybe she may have been standoff at the time based on everything that she had going on at home and all these different experiences and everything. But I'd say this, man, I don't know if the brother did it or not, but if he did, he got a powerful thumb to keep her down for that many years. Because that wasn't that anniversary, like a 30-year anniversary or something like that.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, it was over 2 decades.
Have you seen her in a role after? I think she was in one role. I forget what it was. I saw her in one other role, but I haven't seen her in any other acting roles. I heard Charlemagne on the radio saying that he thinks that the Fresh Prince is supposed to get a reboot. That it'd be nice to cast her as Aunt Viv again.
But tell me the truth. What do you think she was the favorite Aunt Viv? Wasn't it 3 Aunt Vivs on that show?
It was 2.
It was only 2.
Yeah, it was 2.
Oh, I'm tripping. 2. It was 2. So
3, and the new Aunt Viv that replaced her did 3 also. And I'm be honest with you, I liked her better than the new Aunt Viv.
You did?
And you know why? It could just be because she was introduced first. So in the back of my mind, she was just always, you know, Aunt Viv. You know?
Now, yeah, definitely though, a reboot would be great. That'll be great for television right now because I mean, there's so many other different shows out there that's been getting the reboot. Some were successful, some weren't as successful. And even if they do the reboot now, I don't think it's going to be as successful as Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was back then, but it's still a good start.
Well, here's something that I think that to be, you know, to really take into consideration with this. After Will Smith and the original Aunt Viv had their conversation, now Monique, the comedian, has come out again. And actually, before I say that, let me say this. One thing I do appreciate about the original Aunt Viv in that discussion, she took some responsibility also. Yeah. That was big to me. Like, she took some responsibility. I thought that was dope. But where I was going was Monique, the comedian, came out, and now she's saying that she believes that Tyler Perry owes her an apology because supposedly Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey said that she was difficult to work with also. And she,
but that was over what, 2 years ago?
I mean, look, we talk, if we saying that Will Smith, think about what, I want you to really think about what we saying. So we saying that Will Smith, an up and coming young man that was at the beginning of his acting career, shut her down for that many years and limited her role for 30 years. Could you imagine somebody who owns their own studio and Tyler Perry, the ability he would have to decimate somebody's career?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
but you know what, too, though? I mean, we know that Monique said some harsh stuff about Oprah and Tyler and others too. So, I mean, I think before she think that they can curb their enthusiasm, she has to own up what she did too. You know what I'm saying? And then hopefully, you know, stuff will happen. But I just don't like to see where other people get things cleared away or squared away, and then somebody else think it's a segue for them to come in and use. Yeah, I hate that stuff, yo. I hate that. Now I guarantee you, if this never happened with Aunt Viv and Will Smith, Monique would have never brought this stuff up again. She would have never brought it up again.
Nah, Monique would have brought it up because she always talking about it. Her and her husband always talking about it. Monique would have brought this up anytime anybody get any deal on Netflix, anytime anything comes up, yo, Monique is always in the wings with it. So this wasn't going away, you know. And I think somebody told Monique something like she'd be able to get more deals if she get rid of her husband or something. She was like, my husband got me my best deal. That I appreciate about Monique. Monique ride hard for her husband. She ride hard for her husband. Some of the stuff her and her husband say sound a bit delusional, but at the end of the day, they got each other back. I respect that.
Yeah,
I respect that. You know, you need that in a companion. OG Dad says the fact that she couldn't get work when UPN and other networks at that time were looking for black actors, maybe she is.
Thank you, OG Dad. See, that's what I said. It's two sides to every story.
Viv should have ridden that show until the wheels fell off. Yeah. Look, I don't know what 250 grand. I would imagine inflation what 250 grand is now, but she said they offered her 250,000 back then for a season. And you know, here's something to think about also, and this is what I mean when you start talking about people who are classically trained. If you classically train and they offer you 250,000, but you know that the lead actor is a dude who literally, like the story they told is that when he got called in for audition for the role, he told them that he needed 2 weeks, let him get an acting coach or something like that. And then I think Quincy Jones or somebody told him like all the people you need to convince is outside, take 30 minutes or take 15 minutes or something. So I'm sure she knows like this is a person who has no acting experience whatsoever, and he's commanding. God only knows what kind of check he got to do it. Right. Whose mind don't go to this is the person that's actually bringing the viewers in, because at that time I feel like Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff were probably like Grammy award winning rappers or something like that, right? Platinum rappers.
Oh yeah, big time. Actually, Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince were the ones that win the first Grammy. But you know what it is too, though, Shannon. I've read that Carlton Banks didn't show up, and it's probably, you know, I believe it's very much more to the story. It's not just Will.
For the this last one they just had.
From what I read,
he was there. He came. He had to leave a little bit earlier because I think he was shooting on his other show. But he's another person. So you think about his personality versus Will Smith. Like Alfonso Ribeiro is another dude. He's the freaking tap dance kid. Like he had his experience and came into it. But some people,
and he was damn sure probably the next best Michael Jackson impersonator as far as dancing anybody I ever seen.
Yeah, of course. So OG Dad, you know, you look, there's somebody is there with you, because I'm sure Alfonso Ribeiro did the same thing. He rode the show until the wheels fell off, kept going with it, and got his bag out of it. You know, something to consider. You know, switching gears, man. I sent it over to you and Rob. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it. You know, Dave Chapelle did like his little 15 to 17 minute set called Unforgiven. And man, like, yo, it was Dave Chapelle. His brand of humor is not for everybody, but I like the fact that all his stand-ups usually have a message in it. And if you stick with him and you really understand satire and how it works, it really has a powerful message. Dave Chappelle's the stand-up was basically him talking about how he feels that he that he has been victimized or robbed of content and robbed of things on many different occasions. And he set the stage by talking about his first experience, that he was a young up-and-coming comedian that was 15 years old, and he had a joke that he was doing, and an older comedian asked could he use the joke to go to audition. And he said, he told him, sure, you could use it. And then he said that he was going to perform at a comedy show. The older comedian opened up before him and used the joke again. And then he said to him, like, you know, stop saying my joke. I'm gonna need my joke back. And the older comedian offered him $50 for the joke. And he was like, nah, actually, I'm trying to come up. I need the joke. So the older comedian told him, I'll just take the joke, and took the joke from him. Then he said he had another time we was playing 3-card Molly. And I think he said he had like $50 to his name or something like that. And that they end up taking his money. But this is where it gets interesting. He was like that he had stood and he watched the people play the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that he saw what he thought was people losing, and that he thought he knew what the card was, and that all these people were around, you know, I guess like hyping it up. And that
he was in on it.
Game, and he lost, and he realized that those people were in on the game also. And he used that, which I thought was brilliant. He used that as an analogy to segue into when he was sitting in a room and he signed his deal with Viacom, Comedy Central, for his show, and that everybody in the room was telling him this is a great deal. But he was saying, like, what if they were in the game also? Long story
I think
short,
they were.
Yeah, long story short, he ended up signing the deal. And what I appreciate about him saying and signing the deal, to me, so many people sign these deals, these bad deals, and then solely act like that it's the other party's fault, that the other party took advantage of them. What he acknowledged, and I stand up to me, he was like, you know, I was an expecting father. My family was young. I needed the money. And, you know, that's why I did it. So to me, he gave background information. I always say this all the time, even with rappers and stuff. We always get put in these positions and sign these deals based on the fact that we want to change our circumstances faster. That's why I think we're quicker to sell off our content than some other people. So he signed a deal. And after he signed the deal, you know, some time went by. We all know that eventually he didn't want to do the Chapelle show anymore. So he said that people were telling him, well, just create another Chapelle show. And that he thought about it and was like, yeah, I will create another Chapelle show, until he realized that they own the Chapelle show in perpetuity. And that they were streaming it on other services. So I've seen the Chapelle show on, I don't know if it's on VH1 or BET. I know it still comes on Comedy Central. Netflix got it. And he said that with his deal with Netflix, he said that he told Netflix, could they take it down because it makes him feel bad? He said Netflix took it down and stopped streaming the Chapelle show. So he ended the stand-up by saying he's asking people to boycott the Chapelle show.
I just think overall, Dave Chapelle created his own monster, and you definitely brought it up by him signing that contract. And you know, not all money is good money, number one. And number two, if you sign a contract, get a lawyer, right? But then you can get another lawyer to watch another lawyer. You don't, I mean, come on. Like, I mean, Dave Chapelle been in the industry long enough to know what's right and what's wrong, and how many other people fell victim to bad contracts. Like, look at all these other comedians. Look at the situation that happened with Red Fox, one of the funniest people ever besides Richard Pryor.
Yeah,
and he damn near died dead broke.
Well, here's something to think about, though, Zane. Like, realistically, like, I think so. We think in the context when we talk about contracts, we talking about like these entertainment contracts. But I think there's not, all of us at some point of time have signed a bad deal. I know that I've signed a bad deal. I signed a bad deal in the you know, I think like a car that I financed. One of the first cars that I financed, the interest rate was crazy. You know,
we all sign bad deals when we get on social media platforms.
Yeah,
it takes all of our freedom away and privacy.
Yeah, but you know, in a more contextual sense, you know, like signing that deal at that time, you know, I'm signing it because it was in my interest. I'm like, I'm young, I really want this car, I want to be doing this and doing that. So at that time, I don't know if people think through. You know, they think through all of this stuff, the intricacies of the deal in its entirety. And I think that that's what puts people in a position to have to live out these deals. Now, one of the things that I've always said is I can't understand how all these entertainers and all these people continue to get caught in these bad deals. But I think the other part of it also is that seems like the standard entertainment contract is a bad deal. And the best deal that you could get is one that's not as lengthy, like a short deal.
Yeah.
You know? And some of us, and to be frank, like some of our circumstances dictate where we're in a position where honestly, we don't believe in our product more than somebody else, right? So like if I came right now, us three, we went to somebody and we pitched this show and was like, this is what we doing. And it was like, here's the bag that we want to give you or whatever it is, right? And we look at it and be like, man, this is good money. This is good money. We're looking at it and saying that this is good money. They're looking at it and saying the money that I'm giving them is only going to cut into a profit of potentially what I could make. And I think that that's one of the challenges that we have, that we don't see the full potential of how something could be monetized.
Yeah. Plus, how many years you think the Chappelle Show been out?
I don't know. It's been out a while. It's been.
Look what OG Dad said. You're right, OG Dad. You're right. You should have brought me in the room.
The Chappelle Show has been on for many years, and I'm sure that the revenue, because it's in syndication now.
No, see, the fact that I was about to say is because back then the main thing that was getting streamed was music. It wasn't actual like content that had to do with shows and cable and stuff like that. That was more like, you know, you have your reruns and stuff. You have a lot of new episodes, but the streaming stuff wasn't as popular as what it is right now. Mm-hmm. So even when Dave Chapelle signed that contract, I don't think he had in mind the future of what stuff is going to be as far as streaming and how streaming plays a major part of people's revenue right now. So once Dave Chapelle was like, damn, and you know, COVID and all the stuff going on too, he like, damn, it's like he can't go. Yeah, he's missing out on all this money. So now Dave Chappelle's really more mad at himself than he's mad at anybody else that's actually putting out his content. But of course, Dave Chappelle's the one that is actually brilliant enough to still make it work out later on. Like, I mean, okay, they have the Chappelle Show on stuff. All he has to do really is go to the court, pay to get his last name changed, or do whatever, mix it up. No, seriously. I mean, that's the only way that he can actually get full intellectual property back to what he wanted his stuff to be. And also, I think once he does this, it's going to probably be bigger than all the stuff that he ever did back then. Dave Chappelle going to be around for a long time, bro.
Well, here's the thing with that though. So what you're talking about is him writing it going forward. Like, yeah, there's potential to make it right going forward. You do a new deal and then you do something else going forward. But I'm sure he probably has like accountants, lawyers and stuff, and people who are telling him like, this is the kind of revenue that they've generated off of this show over the years. If my memory serves correctly, Comedy Central gave him a pretty big deal. So think about what I just said a few minutes ago. If Comedy Central sits down with you and they say, we want to give you $50 million for the next X amount of years.
That means they're going to make 500 million.
That's exactly
$5 billion.
That's exactly what I'm saying. But I think sometimes our circumstances don't allow us to see the bigger picture, potential of it. The person that I salute, man, around that is Master P, man.
Oh, Master
P, to me, like I remember I watched the Master P special when they had it on I think it was VH1 or BET. But I had already
Jimmy Iovine situation.
The joint where they try to offer him $1 million and he was on the plane like, no, I'm not taking it because if they're gonna give me $1 million, imagine how much I'm really worth, right?
Right.
So there are some people that are willing to bet on themselves, and they're willing to bet on themselves because just as we were saying with Emil Nnani, like Master P had proof of concept. He was already in the street, moving these units and making money and everything like that, and he was looking for somebody to partner with him. Dave Chapelle. He was a known comedian. He has some roles and stuff like that. But Dave Chapelle also was looking for somebody to help elevate him and take him to the next level. And he said that he pitched it to HBO also. That he to HBO and HBO passed on it. But now imagine that all these people you pitched it to passed on it, and now all of them are streaming it, replaying it. It's in syndication. All these other people are making money off of it, but your name is on the show. And you're not making anything off of it. That's tragic.
Man, I would love to see 2 or more brothers get together. Like, I would love to see, okay, because you see how Dame Dash have Dame Dash Studios, and he has a lot of different comedy acts that he manages, that's on that Dame Dash TV platform. Say if whether Dame Dash and Dave Chapelle get together, or titles. I mean, to boost titles, because titles like they offering like a lower rate right now just to get subscribers. Imagine if Dave Chapelle just has all, like, once he reboots the new show and do whatever, he has to change his name, whatever, and all that stuff would be on Tidal. You know how much Tidal stock will go up, or Tidal content as far as subscribers and viewership.
Yeah,
but
let me try an analogy that and see if this kind of works, right? And thinking about, like, from Dave Chappelle's standpoint. So yesterday, when me and my wife sat down to eat dinner, I was looking at the Robinhood app, and I was talking to her about stocks and everything. And there was a particular stock, and I was saying, like, yo, I missed out because I should have bought X amount of more shares or whatever. And she was like, but you have these shares and you made this money off of it. And I used that to sort of compare to Dave Chappelle, because in your mind, you're always going to be thinking about what you lost, because he's seeing that right now. He's living through that being monetized right now, like literally in front of his face. He knows that there's a cult following. When he was at Radio City Music Hall, we went and seen him at Radio City Music Hall. He had 3 shows. All 3 shows were sold out. He's probably right now at the height of his popularity, being revered. People love him. Them shows are etched in stone. Like, to this day, there are people who still watch Richard Pryor's sketch show on YouTube, right? This is his most, probably the body of work that he's most proud of. His comedic sketch for Rick James and Prince, arguably,
incredible.
Like people look at that like this is comedic genius or whatever.
Genius. Yeah.
And to think that this is gonna have to live on for years, and people are gonna be coming up to him saying, man, I love when you did the comedic sketch where, when you play Rick James, or when you did this or you did that. Those 2 sketches I love on the Chappelle Show, but there are other sketches that, to me, that were better than that. And also, to make money off of that in perpetuity I'm sure that's gotta hurt, man.
You know what it is too, though, Shannon? Dave Chappelle is so slick with it, even though he feel that he's getting messed over by the content that's already out, that's being shared on these other networks. Dave Chappelle probably didn't even put out his funniest stuff yet, and that's what I'm thinking. Dave Chappelle is that slick with it, because Dave Chappelle probably, after he signed a contract, and he might have spoke to his close inner circle or whatever, and as he's developing these new shows for the Dave Chappelle show, somebody might have told him, whether his spiritual advisor or whoever his main advisor is as far as business, his business manager, he said, hey, don't even put XYZ out. Save that just in case if things go sour. So right now,
a hell of a deal with Netflix, though, I heard.
Yeah, but I don't think he put out his funniest stuff yet. I think he still got that in the archive.
I've been satisfied with them. I watched the Kevin Hart joint. Kevin Hart's latest stand-up yesterday.
Can't get into Kevin Hart, man. Like, Kevin Hart is silly. He's not funny to me.
Either. I'm not a big fan of him either. But you know why I watched it? Honestly, I watched it because on social media, people have been going crazy and saying, like, yo, it's terrible. They didn't laugh one time. It's his worst stand-up ever. And just like you said, like, I'm not a big fan of Kevin Hart. I watched it and I was like, I don't really see anything different here than anything that he's ever done before. Maybe his time is just now starting to be up and it's moving on to somebody else. But it wasn't terrible. It wasn't gut busting funny. It was just Kevin Hart being Kevin Hart. He got a bad Netflix too.
Huh?
Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
That was the reason why Monique got pissed off, because all of them got them crazy deals, and she said Netflix only offer her $500,000. Now, the crazy thing about it is, I remember her and Charlamagne arguing back and forth like crazy over it, because Charlamagne was saying to her, the analytics show like how many concert seats you sell, how many views. And then the funny thing, she wanted to debate it, but I believe that Netflix already had a Monique stand-up on Netflix. So if they already had one of her old stand-ups on Netflix, they could see the analytics and be like, this been streamed X amount
of times.
Yeah, so they knew what it was. But she also said that they had built in a clause where they told her like she couldn't use those same jokes for a year or something like that or whatever. So, man, that just seems like how these people are doing business now. Like, they want to own outright everything.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, shout out to Dave Chapelle. Hopefully, you know, things will work out for him, and whatever next business endeavor he has as far as comedy, it will be way bigger than what he already put out.
Yeah. The OG Dad says very, very mediocre. Kevin Hart stick to movies. Yeah, it was. I've never thought. Honestly, you know what the funniest movie I ever saw Kevin Hart in? Paper Soldiers to me. I thought Paper Soldiers was hilarious.
I remember saying that. I just vaguely remember what happened in it. The one
Dame Dash, where it was him, Dame Dash, Beanie Siegel was in it briefly. Maury was in it. Capone was in it briefly, and they were going around. They would like breaking and entering stuff in Philly, breaking into people's homes. That was to me like one of his funniest movies. But I'm just not a big Kevin Hart fan. The one stand-up I did like by Kevin Hart is the joint where he was talking about his dad with the all right, you're gonna learn today.
That's the only one I liked out of everything, because the way that I found out about him was years and years ago when he was on that atrocious movie Soul Plane. I couldn't get past the first 15 minutes of that movie.
That movie was terrible. You know what's wrong? Look, man, now if you think about stand-ups, the difference in stand-ups, like stand-ups I feel like years ago stand-ups were much more, they stood the test of time than some of these newer stand-ups. Like you could still turn on the TV and watch Raw, Delirious, Richard Pryor, Live on Sunset Boulevard. Like some of those stand-ups now, like the newer stand-ups to me is like they the shelf life on them, you know, you can't how you call it, like even like Smart and You So Crazy and stuff like that, those stand-ups are like quality stand-ups. Some of this other stuff now, like right now, honestly, I probably couldn't watch Kings of Comedy right now. And I like all of them.
That was the one with Steve Harvey and Cedric and rest in peace Bernie Mac and them, right?
Yeah, I probably couldn't watch it right now. I definitely watch the Queens of Comedy. I saw Mike Epps in concert before. I don't think I would ever want to see anything he did again.
Well, didn't they say that Eddie Murphy's supposed to been coming out with another stand up?
I heard he was. He probably afraid he's gonna bomb.
Nah, I think Eddie Murphy will do good.
I don't know, man.
I think Eddie Murphy
I like Chris Rock, but I like Chris Rock stand-ups.
Man, Chris Rock always talks that political stuff, and it makes you think, like, damn, like this dude, even though the stuff is funny, this is actually the stuff that he says makes sense. See, Chris Rock always been on point with that as far as his delivery and thought-provoking content.
Yeah, he I think one of my favorite joints from him was, you ever seen the joint where he was like, niggas come out of jail and got more respect than somebody who went to college.
Yeah. I've seen that. Yeah.
Masters, huh? So
right.
You go whoop my ass.
Yeah, man. Like Chris Rock. I don't know what happened with Cat Williams. Like, I don't know what's going on with him.
Yo, we seen Cat Williams in concert also. It was okay, but it wasn't, you know, it's not something I would ever want to see. And Shannon, you can't compare regular funny to extra classic comedic performances. Who was on first still funny? Yeah, that's true. Like the comedians we have before, they were legendary, true comedians. You know, now some of the stuff you look at, you be like, man, like they have no replay value. They have no replay value. It's nothing.
What's the name was even funny? Eddie Griffin.
He was all right. I was like, man, he was all right. He was all right. Oh man, I forgot to tell you this. I spoke to Rob too. Rob yesterday. So Rob is shout out to Rob, because I'm sure he's gonna watch this back. Rob is still unpacking. It's coming along though. It's coming along.
Oh,
yeah, they almost there. He's still unpacking. He's enjoying the new space. Him and his missus. He was trying to get on this week. He was like, man, I'm trying to, maybe I'll sneak in the closet and come on for a few minutes. You know, Rob ready to come back, but he unpacking our house and getting things together for him and the missus.
Yeah, shout out to the good brother Rob, man. We holding it down till you get back, bro. And when you get back, things will be even better.
Yeah. So, and he asked about you too. He was like, "What's up with Z?" I'm like, Zane, still scrolling Instagram for thoughts.
What's that song with what's his name? Lil Jon, we like shots?
Thoughts.
Nah, my thoughts. Stop.
Yo, we said it last week. We're gonna have what's the name, yo? Show your feed day one day where if you just put up a scroll,
man.
scroll your feed, show your feed of what you got going on. Zane,
I'm gonna do that one day. Cause I like to follow the models on there and stuff like that.
Yeah, so
nice little bikini models and stuff.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. You're talking about like people need to vibrate higher. No, stop looking. Stop looking. Well, thanks for everybody pulling up this week. Hopefully you all had a happy Indigenous People Day. You ate your turkey. You watched Zane's Cowboys get whooped.
Oh man, they got beat, man. Cowboys looking horrible.
Yo,
41-16. They lost to the Washington football team yesterday.
I tip my cap to you, Zane. I can't say anything because I'm a Jets fan. We haven't won a game, and I don't think we'll win a game this year.
Well, shoot, you already knew who you're gonna get.
If Trevor Lawrence agreed to come to us, that's what we going for. Definitely.
Yeah, that'll be pretty good. But do you have receivers for him to even throw it to?
Yeah. We got a young core. We actually with this dude now playing, we actually throwing the ball down the field some now. What's homeboy that was on Baltimore before? Joe. What's his name? Gosh.
Joe Flacco.
Yeah, he's quarterback for us. Yeah.
He better be doing some of all that money he got paid from.
The Jets gave him.
No, I'm talking. Oh, for real?
Yeah, the Jets gave him peanuts. He trying to hang on.
Oh, that was Baltimore. Baltimore gave him like $100 and something million.
Yeah. And then tomorrow,
wait, so that money's not guaranteed like how basketball is?
Nah, that contract was up. His contract, I think Baltimore may have cut him, and then he probably got whatever the guaranteed money was, but we didn't give him no big deal. He on a year-to-year deal with us. And then, tomorrow's the fight. Give us your prediction before we end.
I say Mike Tyson round 4.
Mike Tyson round 4?
Because there's only 8 rounds in that, but I would say Mike Tyson round 4. The highest that'll go is 5 rounds. I predict the first round, Roy Jones gonna be running around trying to get Mike Tyson winded. Tyson gonna put him in the corner, hit him with a couple of jabs or hooks in the rib, and then by second round, Roy Jones gonna be doing the same thing, running around trying to establish the jab. Tyson gonna hit him with. I think Tyson gonna drop him in that second round. Then I think Roy Jones might be able to get himself together for 3, but then 4, that's it. 5 max.
Well, look, I believe the Black Lives Matter belt is on the line for this fight.
The Black Lives Matter belt.
I think that's what they said. The Black Lives Matter belt is on the line.
Hey, but so they have do they have a decent undercard? Like, I'm sure it's people that we don't know, but
Nate Robinson.
Nate Robinson, the basketball player? You lying, yo. You serious for real?
Nate Robinson is fighting a YouTuber. It's supposed to be a rap concert. And I think Badu Jack is fighting somebody too, I think.
Wow. Yeah. I was looking at something a couple of weeks ago. They said Tyson is really trying to bring this stuff back. Like, he's looking to get football players, basketball players, people from different sports to get into the boxing ring.
Here's my prediction. I'm saying 3 rounds, and I don't think it's being scored either. I'm gonna say 3 rounds, and I'm gonna say that's gonna end in some kind of TKO, but a TKO from somebody on the stool where they didn't tore their Achilles or up, or it's gonna be a whole lot of rubbing down of Bengay and icy hot and all kind of other stuff or whatever, because
I just don't want to see Mike Tyson bite off this dude's ear or something like that.
Mike Tyson at this point now, Mike Tyson probably gonna roll up and get high before the fight. There's no drug testing for the fight. They already said that too. He'll roll up, get high before the fight, go in there, and just probably go off and be winded by the third round. I'm telling you, somebody gonna be like, they can't continue.
Wait, so Tyson said he's gonna roll up before the fight? He gonna smoke before the fight?
He didn't say that, but
oh.
and they said they specifically did no drug testing because they know that Mike Tyson likes to smoke frequently. So that's
what's the name? Look like he smoked too, though. Roy Jones look like he smoked.
Yo.
I tell you what, though, Tyson better not sleep. I mean, I'm not saying Roy Jones is no sucker. Like, if Roy Jones get 1 or 2 good hits in there, Tyson can, back hit the mat. But I just think Tyson just has more to prove. Tyson's like, he don't like if Tyson loses this, it's like he might jump off a bridge or something, yo. Tyson, I'm serious. Like Tyson. If Tyson loses to this, he can't have no excuse, bro.
Tyson is
before.
Roy Jones got a glass chin now. Yo, look at this. Monique should have asked him to allow her to tell jokes at the fight.
Oh my God.
Not for the amount of money she wants. That's more than the whole promotion, probably.
Yeah, man. Monique, the type that just never satisfied, yo. That's what I think it is, yo.
I need 80% of the pay-per-view sales. It's $50, right?
Huh?
It's $50, I believe, for the fight.
I don't know. Like when I'm watching that, they getting it for free.
Allegedly, don't chill. Allegedly, where's Zane? Look, full disclaimer. Where's Zane? Full disclaimer. When Zane is watching the fight, they are going to be paying for the fight. The reason why he said it's free is because they're going to allow him to come over and look at it for free. But the fight is not free. The fight is not free. You didn't hear that from No Ideas Original podcast. The fight is not free.
Oh shit. Oh.
Yo.
Man.
So thank you everybody for tuning in this week. We'll see you next week. Peace out.
Out.
Everybody enjoy your weekend.